to new people. We are joined today by a special guest of awesomeness. We have Blubzor.
Hola!
Hola! Are you giving me a holler too? I like that, I really do. And we're joined by, well, most of my subscribers will know you as Elfie, but of course the world knows you as Apko from Method. Hello, Apko.
Hello.
Hello. So Blub, you're from Holland.
Yes.
And Elfie is from Romania. I'm going to be calling him Elfie, so if you get confused, he's Elfie to me, and he always will be, dear in my heart, because I love him so much. We're going to be talking about healers today, because you guys are long-term healers. How long have you been healing for? Ernie, Blubby?
I think approximately 6 years now.
6 years, and always a druid?
Yes, always a druid.
And how many expansions have you survived being a healer?
Every single one.
Every single one, hardcore. And of course, Apko, you've been a holy paladin for how long?
Well, I started as a mage back in vanilla.
Paidon!
Yeah. And right when TBC started, I rolled the paladin, which I played until now. And now I will reroll a monk.
I have just noticed you are in fact on your monk.
Yeah.
You're joining us on your monk, so we'll talk about your reroll, I guess, in there. So what we're going to do is going to jump into a heroic. We're having a healing-themed week on the channel, my channel, and so you guys obviously have much better knowledge than me of healers, so we're going to talk about all sorts of healer stuff. So I'm going to just queue us up. So one of the big questions I always get asked is, fuck me, I struggle to heal heroics now. What is it going to be like when I'm not overgearing the fuck out of the place? You know, like everybody can be geared really, really quickly. So, you guys have survived a ton of expansions. So, what's that like? Like jumping into a heroic, fresh geared. You've got bad geared tanks, bad geared DPS. Shit isn't dying quickly. What's it like? How do you cope with it?
Well, from my perspective, if you're new in an expansion and you're used to being overgeared in an instance, mana doesn't matter. So, what the healers will do is that they spend their mana so fast and they need to drink on every pack. The best thing to do is conservative your mana as best as you can, and then you can last as long until the pack is dead. That's the best thing to do in my opinion.
What do you think, Elf?
Well, I think you need to expect to wipe a lot at the beginning, because, I mean, you need to, how to say it, to see the damage first, even in the first heroics, because the gear won't be enough. I mean, your gear won't be enough to do them. I don't know about the Mist of Pandaria heroics, but at least that's how it was in the past. The heroics were very hard at the beginning, so you had to, I don't know, to cope with them with under par gear, you know. And
well, exactly. I mean, we're looking at a perspective. Every time, I mean, we used to all be in a guild together, and when we do a new expansion, is we can't queue for our heroics. Exactly. We generally cap, and we have to walk our asses, because we're all spoiled by looking for raid, obviously. We have to walk our asses all the way over to the dungeon and go in. I remember me and Blub in the first Halls of Origination, I think, in Cataclysm. I think
oh, the first pack! Oh man, that first fireballs!
Yeah, I remember us being in there and being so destroyed by that dungeon, and it took us so long to do, but we got through it. So healers should be expecting to blow all their mana. Is this the kind of thing you're saying? It's nothing wrong with going to have to drink.
No, that's not
no way. If you're gonna need to do it like all the time at the beginning. Like
yeah, of course. But packs take longer than you're used to, so you need to conservative your mana a bit on the packs. It's not like that the pack dies in 2 seconds. It's more like 2.5 minutes in the beginning. So that's why you kind of have to look at your mana as well.
But what about cooldowns and stuff? I mean, I assume most guys saving the cooldowns for bosses. It's one of the things I say is make sure you got your cooldowns. But I'm pretty sure we're blowing trank. We're blowing fucking everything and just doing everything we can.
Yeah, you're gonna need to blow up cooldowns even on trash. I mean, especially that they will take long. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it as long as you manage them correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool. What about grouping in randoms? Would you try and avoid that if possible, and try and roll with any friends you can find?
I would try to avoid them at the start at least, because it's gonna be very hard for you to even finish them, you know, with random people, and that means less gear for you. That means even if you raid, that means it's gonna be way slower for you to gear up and be like, I don't know, good for your guild. So it's better to just group up with people you know that they are good, and I mean, even better if you are like on TeamSpeak with them or Skype. It's much better like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people worry when they're healing now, especially new players to the game. A lot of new players come to the channel and they're like, the tanks pull so fast, they just expect me to be ready every single time, and that is just not going to be the case whatsoever with a new expansion. It's just it's stripping everything that we know of in Cataclysm and getting rid of it, which I think a lot of people are really worried about. It's, you know, everything we know about healing a 5-man right now is how fast can we get it done. I can't drink, but we need to just get rid of all that. If you guys, who are the top players, say, look, you're going to have to drink every single pack, then people should be confident in that. That's okay to blow all your mana. That's what I stress to them, is that it's fine. There's nothing wrong with ooming yourself per trash pack. Because we don't know how hard the Mr. Pandaria Heroics is going to be, because every time we've been in, our item level has been shifted to an appropriate level. So we don't know what it's like to be under-geared.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, also, I think you should just keep this to the scenarios in the tank pooling and stuff. In the beginning of the expansion, every tank should just keep an eye on the group, keep an eye on the healer's mana, you know? That's really important.
For sure. I think so too. I mean, you guys have tested all days. How are you finding healing overall? You've obviously, I think, Blubby, you've done every 10-man heroic.
Yeah.
Elfie has done every 10 and 25 heroic.
Well,
how's it been so far?
Druids are still, they're pretty strong. They're pretty strong healing class, and the healing is really intense in the heroics. If I heard correctly, the 25 heroics are way harder than the 10-man heroics because they weren't tuned enough. So the healing in heroics is really demanding. So that's gonna be a cool challenge.
Well, what I said earlier was that even Blizzard said that the first time they tested the 10-man, and after that they tested the 25-man, and they were not happy with how they tuned 10-mans and what people saw on 25-man, and everybody.
They weren't happy in what respect?
With the tuning, overall tuning on the 10-man.
Like 25 was too hard?
Well, people said that because they tested both 10-man and 25-man, and then when they saw the damage in 25-man, they said, well, it's much higher in a 25-man than 10-man, and Blizzard said that, well, yeah, because we pretty much fucked up with the 10-man, and don't worry, it's not gonna be like you test on 10-man.
We fucked up with the 10-man. Yeah. It's okay, guys, we fucked it up. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I like that answer. Yeah. At least they get you straight to the point these days about these kind of things.
Yeah, so, yeah, the damage is gonna be high, really high. And it's gonna be pretty hard to keep up at the beginning, but, yeah, I guess we're gonna need to do it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can get through it. That's the point. I think I just don't want a lot of the guys thinking, oh, you know, this is too hard. I'm having to drink all the time. I need to quit out and farm more gear. And then getting them stuck in this thing where a lot of people do is where they're trying to farm gear without going into the dungeons that provide the gear because they're a bit afraid.
Yeah, you shouldn't be afraid.
Which is a horrible situation to be in. That lack of confidence is what kills you a lot of the time.
There's no need to be afraid, you know. Everything is a learning process, and if you wipe, you know, it's not the end of the world. Just
even if you start the first time to fight and you're gonna go home in 1 minute, that doesn't mean the fight is not doable. That just means that you, I don't know, you just need to learn the encounter better and execute it better and manage your mana like differently each time until you got the correct time. I mean the correct way. With
well, there's one thing is remember is you're not the only one learning.
Yeah, exactly.
The DPS are learning, hopefully. You know, I hope they're learning in some fashion. The tanks are learning, especially. I mean, tanking the first time. I mean, what's your approach? I mean, I can say from tanking's approach of what I do the first time I go into a dungeon is I meticulously try and see what every piece of trash is doing.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I have no idea right now what this trash is doing, and it's annoying me because this guy seems to have mass aggro.
The first time I walked into this instance, I got insta-killed by all the archers. I was like, huh, what?
Is this a fixate, this guy?
You know, that's how it works. Everything is new, and so.
Yeah, it's a learning process for us all. But let's alright, so let's talk about the healers themselves. How are you finding Resto, Druid? What's been your biggest exciting change so far? Is it mushrooms? It's got to be mushrooms.
Yeah, the mushrooms are fun, but they were too overpowered, so the nerf is in place. For the other part, we get symbiosis, and that's a really cool spell, and that's all we get. But It's really cool, you know.
I mean, how are you finding symbiosis in general? Do you think it's overpowered?
No, it's not overpowered. It's really not overpowered. You can do so many cool things with it, and I think it's the right spell. They should leave it like how it is right now. You can.
Do you think it's a case of you are always put it on one person for one specific buff? The fact that I think there's like what 30 variations of symbiosis.
Well, it's
obviously not just for Resto druids.
yeah.
But,
For me, it's always the same that I get, and I give the same. So that's not really the case, but.
Well, who are you giving it to? Because I'm sure people are thinking, who the hell should I give my symbiosis to?
It depends what you want. If you want stronger raid cooldowns and stuff, you give it to your warrior tank. But if you want your own personal experience, cool stuff, you can either give it to the priest for the life grip, give it to a shaman to heal while walking. You know, those are really strong healing cooldowns.
You need healing while walking as a Resto druid? What? What is this?
Well, it's handy from time to time, you know.
Well, yeah, you want to spam that healing touch, yo.
Yeah. The nourish.
Well, I suppose we have to ask the question then, because there might be some Holy Paladins who are a little bit worried. Why are you dropping the Holy Paladin? What's going on there?
Well, personally, I don't like the Holy Paladin anymore. In my opinion, they made it way too easy. But this wasn't the main reason I will quit it. I will still level it and play it if needed, of course. Yeah. But we needed a monk pretty much because they are very strong. And I don't know. I guess I was the first one and the only one that said, okay, I'll do it, you know.
Well, you tried it out, obviously. I remember you leveled it to try it out, and then something about it must have said, this is so much better. Are you bored of the Holy Paladin? Because you have played for a long time.
Maybe. I think it's like a bit of all, you know. But I really don't like the way the Paladin is played at the moment. It's just, they made it way too easy. It's nothing to do anymore. I don't know, you don't need to manage like holy power like you used to, you know, you just spam and everything. I guess at level 90 is going to be a bit harder than it is at level 80, because I didn't really raid it on beta with the Paladin.
Well, no, you switched very, very quickly. I remember that shortly after you capped, because you took forever to cap.
I played more on level 80. And I played it more a bit on level 85, I mean, in Dragon Soul. And I just don't like it. Played the Shaman also, which...
Oh, okay.
I think I like the Shaman more than a Paladin at the moment, which is weird, because everybody says the Shaman is shit.
Yeah, that's what I hear all the time.
Yeah.
Well, do you have... I mean, I remember Barrel Roll. All the healers were mocking him for being AFK, because his healing was so weak. You've just why are you AFK in the dungeon? Obviously, it was all in jest. But has the Shaman changed at all? I mean, I haven't done any testing since.
Yeah, the Shaman it's changed. I mean, you just don't have the totems management anymore. You have one which you need to place it
upgrades
almost on cooldown, and yeah, you have two raid totems, which is Spirit Link and Healing Tide, which you need to use them like when it's heavy damage. But that's it, pretty much, you know. It's also way easier, in my opinion, to play Shaman than used to, because...
You think it's a relatively easy class to play?
Well, in my opinion, it is. I mean, I played it before, like during Firelands, and I actually killed...
Well, you played it a lot in Dragon Soul.
Yeah, I killed the Spine and Madness on the first kills with my Shaman, so... It feels easier than it used to be, at least for me. I don't know, maybe others don't agree with it, but it feels like that.
Do you think that contributed to your dislike of the Paladin, is that you had to play an alt for a high
I don't think
world kill?
I don't think so. It felt weird to not be there for the for the first kills with my main, but you know, I understood that the Shaman was way better, you know. With the... I forgot the name of the buff, which gives you HP.
The
Ancestral Fortitude.
Yeah, that was really, really strong on both the Spine and Madness. On Madness for the tanks and on Spine for everybody. Because of the degeneration debuff.
No, I totally see where you're coming from. But so you switched over to the monk, and how are you finding just like the playstyles different? I mean, I've played the monk a little to obviously put out a basic guide for guys. I really enjoyed the sort of interaction between Soothing Mist and your big heals as well, and the lack of you didn't have the 3 set heals that every healer has. The small, the fast. You just had the 2 heals, but how you use them is how you make it work. Is that something because you have to work to manage that? Is that what's appealing towards you?
I think it's a totally different class. I mean, it's like you have a bit from all the other healing classes, in my opinion. That makes it more interesting. You have many things to watch, you know, like this hot that is very important for you, but especially in the 25 man. And Manatee, of course, you need to like watch it. You have direct heals, you have channeling heals. I mean, you have cooldowns, even rate cooldowns. It's really nice. I mean, you have a lot of things to do during the encounter, which is nice for me. You have
no, yeah,
even the AoE heal. You have
it can be a little bit boring if it's just
yeah.
Oh, okay, I've got to do this now.
You can even heal as a melee. You know, I mean, it's much more interesting than any other class, in my opinion, which made me switch.
Alexia, have you considered switching at all, Lenny? Are you happy with the
Well, I considered it a bit, but I'm really happy how the druid works, and I don't really know if the monk is really a class for me, and especially the druids are pretty powerful in the early stages of an expansion, so we kind of need.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally shamans have always been the weakest. Yep. They've always been notoriously bad at the beginning of expansions, and we don't expect to see that this time for a lot of the shamans out there, because I've always proclaimed they have been notoriously bad at the beginning of every expansion.
Yeah, it's always like that, and they will get buffed, and then eventually they get nerfed again, because then they get overpowered, and it's always like that.
Well, Spirit Links helped a lot, I assume. I mean, remember when we started, we had a Resto Shaman, Daemon.
Mm.
He was a baller. He was a good guy. But he was so upset with the fact that he couldn't pull 20k HPS on Chimera, I believe, that he basically quit. While you guys were rocking with your druids, and we had a Holy Paladin as well, then El Rey, and they were doing fine. So, yeah, but you don't suspect that's happening this time?
Well, I see it coming. I see them from my own perspective. I see they're being a bit weaker in the start, but I think it will come good in the end. Like always.
Has anyone tried a priest? We haven't even spoke about priest.
No, I haven't tried a priest at all.
No, I mean, I don't like priests and druids.
You don't like priests?
You just hate me.
No, I tried both classes, but I guess they don't fit me.
Yeah, I guess every healer has his own particular style that he enjoys the most. So.
Before we pull this, Elfie, do you remember how to do it? Because last time I brought you there, you died.
Yeah, let's see if... I think I died.
I have no clue about this boss, so it's gonna be fun.
Oh, okay, so expect Blubzor to die now.